Welcome everybody to MogTalk, episode 267. Today is December 24th, 2022. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And we have two wonderful guests on to talk about the live letter. And I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. Saori, would you like to go first?
Sure. Hello everyone, I'm Saori. I am a dark main. I used to heal a little bit in Savage, but since I started doing ultimates, I switched to Dark Knight. I started playing the game back when Stormblood came out in 2017, and yeah, my first raid tier was actually Alpha Escape in 2018, and since then, I mainly focus on endgame content.
Okay. Is that Dark Knight thing like a new thing? I thought you played a different job.
I used to play healer back in the day.
Not machinist?
I switched to Dark Knight. Machinist?
No?
No, I've never
No?
played Machinist before.
Oh, okay.
No.
Wires crossed somewhere. I don't know.
I like Machinist.
Okay. Rin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Rin. I'm very shy. This is my first time on MogTalk. I'm sorry. I'm just so nervous. I'm really Saori.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm Rin. You guys know me. I do something goofy each time, but I didn't set up my background, so I'm just here to mess around and say goodbye to Paladin. Say goodbye to Paladin and all of its dots.
That's going to be that's the topic. That's the topic today. We'll be going over that a little bit.
Whole show. Forget everything you know about Paladin.
Yeah. But I feel like there almost needs. I'm gonna wait till there's a lot of stuff coming up. Holy crap! There's so much content for MogTalk over the next couple of months to actually discuss. But I figured it's best just do a summary real quick. The live letter was like what, a little over 24 hours ago. There's a lot of stuff we've all been waiting for. Exact dates on the patch, exact dates on things. I mean, we all had good estimates, but they confirmed most of what we thought. And I think the biggest thing that we needed them to confirm, at least in my world, was Ultimate. And just, exactly when it was coming out and what it was going to be. I was really kind of hoping, to be honest with you, it was just going to be something off the wall and just throw the whole community off. I don't know why.
It was so strange, right? Because everybody knew it was going to be Omega. That's the pattern they've been following. And they're like, we're keeping it a secret. We're keeping it a secret. Development's done. They're playtesting it now, but we're still keeping it a secret. And then they're like, yeah, it's what you expected. And it's on the day you expected.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, no surprises.
Oh my God.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. And they're like, and then the reason that they didn't tell us early is that we didn't want you to jump to conclusions with what's going to happen in the fight. It's going to be the same conclusions we're jumping to now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
but that transition though from the trailer, that was pretty amazing. I mean, we were kind of expecting it already, but still, it's pretty awesome.
I mean, there is so much they could do with this fight. And they don't have to stay like exactly what was in the fight before, right? I mean,
right. They said to expect everything we've seen from Omega, right? And my big hope, my big dream is that we competed in this interdimensional tournament. There were other contestants. We only fought like the victors of each section of the tournaments, right? They could pull so many mechanics and so many enemies from the other sections. Like, what if Emperor has some mechanics and stuff, and like, okay, well now we're fighting these guys, and then Omega can easily pull like things from like Guardian, where you had to watch the TV and it would like augment what Guardian was going to do. Like the level checker could show up, and you got to look at the little TV screen and figure out which one's the real level checker. It could be multiple of them with different like little pixel versions of like Kefka and X-Depth and Chaos and whatever, and then you got to figure out which one you're fighting, and then we could fight Omega into Omega into Omega, and then finally Omega.
I mean, Omega can like imitate other forms, right? As it liquefies. So what if they bring back other bosses from that raid tier as well in that form, in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they do things like Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. That's a little bit of.
What do you want, Frosty?
I want him to like do a joke about hot fixing something during the raid.
Where he's like shut like the transition scene as he shuts down the raid and all the lights turn off and he's reprogramming the fight.
Yeah.
Because something critically errors out and you guys aren't supposed to survive something that you do with like a tank LB or something. He's like, well, changing the fight and now here's the final phase.
Yeah. 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 Like you have to beat up the computer hard enough for it to change like the damage to the next AoE.
That'd be pretty funny. That'd be pretty funny.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Coming off that world race was I do want to talk about. I don't. Did you guys watch the WoW world race at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not.
It was good. It was really good. I have a lot of respect for all the organizations and groups that put it on. It's just because it's so close to kind of what it's not. Okay, I don't want to say it's so close, but it's in the realm, in the same world, you know, of what I'm doing here in the next month or so, and it was a lot of fun to watch that. And if half that stuff happened in Final Fantasy XIV, it would be a lot more hell raised. But I guess like people are kind of used to it a little bit more, so they kind of let it. They're upset, but they're just gonna live with it and be okay. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because you're effectively playtesting the final fights there, right? But in 14, it's all like playtested before it comes out. Nobody gets to do any like PTR stuff or anything. So we just we get what we get and we don't get upset. But for the most part, our fights also don't have anything that isn't necessarily tuned. Like we have the first change, right? This tier in a very long time. That's been patched like while content is relevant.
Yeah.
And then if you remember, like way back in the Alexander days, there were some bugs with some of the fights that they'd have to hotfix and change. Like we'd have A6 had a bug where it would just randomly kill you when you passed a mechanic.
The water.
Just fail it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they reduced the HP on it too, removed some mines and stuff. But like ever since, I don't think we've had really anything big since Alexander that they've changed too much about it. But like they were talking about with like Echo and Liquid and stuff, right? That like when they fix a fight during one team's sleep period and the other team gets to just go in right away, they're going to have a little bit of an innate advantage.
Yeah.
No matter what way you look at it.
It was horrible. Sorry. So basically, yeah, one of the teams was sleeping. They don't have a global release for a while. And so one team gets to start 8 hours before the other team does.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine you could just start the raid now, and then in 8 hours, I get to start my blind prog, which won't be blind at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And then you have to gear up. Gear is like really important, so you have to split your raids up into multiple different groups and try to get the maximum value of gear on characters, and then form a group over that for about a week. That's like the first week of the world race.
That's intense.
It would be like if you shared gear, like some of the tanks, healers, and DPS all shared gear together. So now you just, and it was specific drops instead of like coffers that just were leg bodies. Now you run everybody that runs dex gear. Now I run everybody with strength gear. Now I run everybody with.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't just that. It was run even more because imagine you get halfway through the raid and you're fighting and you're killing P7S, right? And imagine P7S dropped a ring that could turn you into the tree for 10 seconds and you couldn't move or be knocked back. And now every single player in the raid needs it, because imagine if during high concept there was a knockback and every time that knockback happened, it pushed you back further and you didn't have enough damage yet to beat the check from getting knocked into the wall, but you could turn into a tree on the one where you would get knocked into the wall. So now all 20 players are required to have that piece. Now it's the WoW race.
Yeah.
That is wild.
It's a little crazy. Final Fantasy, we're like, hey, all right, you got all the gear you need. Good luck. Race start. You just go and you beat it until it's dead, and that's the Final Fantasy. And then we have the criticism on the Final Fantasy 14 race that like, oh, it dies so quick, it's so easy. I mean,
How long do you guys think it will be this time around, like the race?
I'm saying 3 to 5
days.
3 to 5 days. I think it could be. There's a potential.
It will depend on the mechanic, right? The gimmick, whatever the wake gimmick is. T took a week for most of the people to figure it out beyond TPS. But this time around, we got really lucky with Horshaphant because a couple of groups hit the point at one point there was only one of a couple LBs that we used, so we just each group tested a different one.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on Omega. I think 5 days.
They did say that it was easier technically than DSR, but
They
more
said
puzzle
DSR is the
oriented,
peak of
so-
difficulty. And
That's
this
true.
is a different
Yeah, but
kind of
more
fight.
puzzle oriented. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how like the puzzles are gonna work and how people are going to figure them out, because that can potentially increase the time that it takes to resolve or to clear the fight.
It's going to be very heavy-handed on programmer jokes and humor and different things. I'm fairly confident about that. So brushing up a little bit on just basic programming knowledge will help the raiders. And, you know, the cat was the big deal in T. Alpha's going to be a pretty big deal maybe in Omega. So know your alpha lore. And then maybe that will help you out as well.
It's a combination of alpha lore. There was the creator that programmed Omega to become perfect, and Omega's trying to figure out the anomaly with people, and we use limit breaks to surpass our boundaries and beat enemies we shouldn't, so we could look into that. Yeah, it's going to be really good. Like they said, we're going to see the real Hello World. You know, in basic programming, one of the first things you learn is reading and writing, and the first thing you do is you write Hello World, that your program can output it, right? So then you're like, okay, well now here are your bugs and here's what you fix about it, right? So maybe we'll see some sort of like memory game. I would expect elements of like high concept to make its way into the real Hello World, right? Now that they've like advanced the game, because as people get better, you can only do so many things. Back in the day, it was like in coils, when a mechanic came out and it was a big mechanic, you had one thing to do for like some of the people. And now we're given like 3 or 4 things to do at a time, right? So what else do we have to do? Rewinds and memory games. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they can do a lot. And I used to program when I was younger, and that excites me.
That's a lot of fun. Could play Baba for you. That could help you guys out a lot if you play that game. Beautiful programming game. That being said, it always, you know, when we did the raid originally, and Saori, how long have you been playing Final Fantasy 14?
I started back in Stormblood, but I didn't start raiding until Alpha Escape.
Okay.
So Phantom Train, what's the other ones? Oh my god, I forget the names. Alpha Escape tier.
Okay.
You started with Phantom Train with Kefka?
Omega.
That was
No, Omega, sorry.
okay, so you started with like
that's
Chaos and
Chaos,
made Guardstormer, Omega
so you skipped
himself, and Omega
Kefka
again.
and you skipped X-Def, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I didn't clear those until after to unlock the ultimates. I started raiding Alpha Escape,
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I thought it was very, very challenging back in the day when I first started raiding. And I don't know, I'm really excited about this ultimate because it's also like nostalgia of like the first fights that I did. And then I just think those fights are super cool. The music, dude, the music is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It is. I'm really, really excited about it.
Well, the main reason I ask is because, you know, X-Def, what was X-Def from? Like 5, right? Final Fantasy 5, is that right? Or 4? What was X-Def? I can't remember. What am I missing for what boss he was?
Yeah, you're good. 4 is Golbez. Thing now.
Okay. And then we have Kefka 6. And then there was this slight prediction of possibly Sephiroth showing up on the last one. But then they got Omega M and Omega F there that look really familiar and close to possibly a Sephiroth. They could finally just let it happen. I mean,
that's true.
That would bring a lot of attention to the game. So, I don't know. We're right there, guys. They said this is something apparently, I can't take when game developers say their game and something's really amazing and completely unbelievable and out of this world. It's hard for me to be like, all right, it's out of this world. I'm super excited. It's more of them just saying that because they should say that kind of stuff.
Although UCOB was, we were all like, whatever. It's just one fight, harder than Savage. It'll take 3 days. And that took us by surprise. And then they said that was the peak of difficulty, right? The longest a fight's going to be, the hardest it's going to be. And then T happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then DSR happened. And every time something's the hardest, it's always the new hardest. But the thing about it is when you have different people designing a fight, right? Different designers are going
Yeah.
to consider different things difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's also multiple people involved in the creation of this specific fight, right?
Is
Compared
that what
to
they
other
said?
ultimates, where it was only one
I
person.
I feel like it was a
No?
translation error, and they said the translation correction was that it was one person who has designed multiple final floors.
Oh, okay. That makes
But
sense.
there's always multiple people on the design team. It's never just one person, but there's
Yeah.
a head.
I'm sure
But
there's a whole group of people
Right.
testing the fight. You can count them as part of that, right? I know some games don't have that, but they do. They do have that. Sorry. Sorry.
no. I also think that Omega Raids did a lot of unique things, right? Throughout the entire expansion. Alexander, the biggest complaint was the aesthetic, right? The feel. You were inside of Alexander's body and everything was very steampunky. And people were cool with that for a few turns, and then it just became more of the same thing. I remember everybody was really excited about A12 being like this open area. Then you take a look at Omega Raids, and everything's different. You know, you're fighting in a Garlean children's horror story on the Phantom Train. It's coming to get you, and then like you're in Guardian's big open area. You know, you're fighting Kefka in like this space platform. X Death is on like a broken section of the interdimensional rift. You know, Halicarnassus was in like a dungeon area and had like the game with the playing panels that changed and gave you a limit break for completing it. You get over to Midgard Sormer, and it's like a reimagining of the planet that we ended up getting to see when we go to the end in Endwalker. It's all like different, so many different aesthetics because you're in like a simulation,
Mm-hmm.
effectively, right? Same thing with Coils. You were in like a simulation. It's like the arenas were like holograms and changed. So they could do
Mm-hmm.
so much with it. I'm super excited to see how they'll change the arena. Given that we did get to see the opening arena, right? Giant circle. It had the same Death's Wall ring
Yes.
like you start with DSR.
DSR.
But because it was so big, they could change it. They also, a noticeable difference is that Omega's hitbox has been increased tremendously beyond his actual body.
Yep.
It did not used to be that way.
That's a good catch. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw like the difference. It's a lot. Also, the
And then
arena being very small.
well, it has room to change. I think it's a decent size. They open up with level checker.
Oh yeah, I think it will
It's still Omega
change.
himself, but they open up with the level checker mechanics where you have to do the towers around, and we caught that they did the tether that reduces your HP to max and gives you a doom if you're not full health. We'll see how that
Was it
interacts.
2 tethers?
It's hard to see
'Cause we
what
saw
everything
that
is going to happen without
we
8
saw
players
we saw
alive,
one
though.
tether go off, and then there was another tether
Mhm.
immediately after
Mm-hmm.
when the second set of towers spawned as well.
Yeah, but with
I
all
don't
8
know.
players not alive, we're not going to see everything that's truly in that mechanic. But
Yeah.
it's a cool opening. It's a really cool opening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and I think this is gonna lead to another really interesting spectator fight. A lot of people are gonna be excited to watch it. A lot of people who aren't familiar with Final Fantasy XIV will be excited to watch it too, just because there's so many Final Fantasy references they can throw on the screen. I think a lot of people will be really happy to see that. So for me, it's a big deal. By the way, if you guys want to help with the World Race, just let me know. We're looking for volunteers for it, but and all that great stuff. And buy merch. Merch goes towards production costs, all that great stuff. It's gonna be a crazy month. I'm using my PTO for this event, and
Good,
hopefully,
it's worth
it'll be a lot of fun to try to make this into a pretty cool event. It's not going to be, I'm not flying down 20 players to a esports arena and doing a high value production, but it'll still be fun.
Oh, I'm just going to show up at your house.
I mean, you can. That's fine. I don't care. You can watch my daughter for me. So, all right. There's a lot of really good things I want to talk about. So I do want to talk about Paladin. We talked about it a little bit. And the fun thing is Paladin's going to be changed right before this raid comes out. So depending on how good or bad it is will be a huge thing that teams will have to figure out if they want it in the raid or not.
I am really happy that we get the 2. Like, the big difference between a Savage tier of releasing and an Ultimate is you get the 2 weeks to test before they just change it on the day of.
Yeah. They might. Huh. So they'll
I
release
guess
the
never say
core
never.
of the job, right? And then they're like, oh, that's too strong or too weak, and then they hot fix it, or they fix it like right when Ultimate comes out.
All right, let's reverse the tables here. Hello, Mr. Frosty Mogborn. You've been a paladin main for a very long time. I was wondering if you had any comments about the removal of dots and they're changing the class, making it more defensive. Your thoughts?
I'm a sage. I don't care.
You've heard it here first. You retired PvP. Now you've retired
I
paladin.
didn't retire PvP. All right, we'll talk about that in a bit.
I think one of the biggest changes to me, the biggest surprise for paladin. Saori, do you play paladin at all?
Not at endgame content. I have not.
Okay. DSR as
No, the
paladin is very
basics.
fun. But you play
Is
Dark
it?
Knight, so you know how defensive Dark Knight can be with magic damage, right? It's very tanky.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
So
Paladin was lacking a little bit of the personal mitigation, right? Is that
Yeah.
why they bring in Bulwark back?
So during the Nidhogg tank buster, right, the soul tether, if you were not using invulns, and then during phase 6 with the ads,
Was
sometimes
not.
you were a little strapped as paladin. You needed help from either your healers or your co-tank. They didn't really have that extra button like camouflage or dark mind or thrill of battle. So I'm pretty sure
Right.
bulwark is just going to be that. It's probably just going to make you block at 100% rate for like 20 seconds or something. Because it said they're changing it. What was
I
it?
think
It
it's
used
gonna
to be
be
what,
blocked
plus 60%. So I do think it's just going to be their new filler. If Sheltron's just going to be percent mitigation and not an increased block, it would make sense for bulwark to just make you block the entire time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Bulwark was horrible back in the day. It was.
Yeah, but you used it in Uwu on the Garuda sister tethers because Sheltron back then only blocked a single hit.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't necessarily the hit you wanted to block. Maybe it would be an auto, or maybe it would be so like in Uwu at the beginning, the 2 tanks each body block a sister and take a big buster, and Sheltron might block the one that the other tank took, and then you took a full hit tank buster and died. So you'd bulwark
Oh,
that
no.
for defensive, and it was like 60% plus you had like a 28% chance or something at the time, so it was pretty close, and you're probably gonna block it, but it was bad. It was not good.
Mm-hmm.
Gamble.
Yeah,
Not
and
a
if
good
you got
one.
what if you got crit, you couldn't block it or parry it, right?
Hmm.
So bulwark was just not good. Not good at all.
You know, I don't know how I feel about the dot situation. Keeping that dot going and just balancing it properly was just part of the paladin routine. It wasn't something that was like I'd be sad if it was gone or happy if it was gone. I don't think it really matters too much. Did you just? Oh, I don't know. What just happened.
Sorry, that's my cat.
Oh, okay.
My cat is trying to climb.
You started talking smack about the dots, and the
Yeah.
cat was like, "No, we're not today."
Yeah.
Not today. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
so every fight, like people talk, like Paladin has a complex rotation when you're
Mhm.
optimizing, right? Because each fight is going to be a different rotation with downtime, and you
Mhm.
have to do specific things.
Yeah.
But once you have that down, you're doing the same thing on that fight every time, right? So your dots don't really have to be managed. The rotation's just going to happen, and the dots happen.
Mm-hmm.
So when a boss goes away right after you put up Goring or your your Blade of Valor, it's just that's it. The dot's done doing its thing, and that's it. Maybe you should have Royal Authority and stuff. So I think the dots going away is going to bring them closer to the other tanks, and it homogenizes them a bit. But it's also what they said they wanted to do. So it's not like it's a surprise, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did say complexity wasn't their goal. It was just accessibility for everyone. You don't want to end up in a situation where people are like, we will not be taking a paladin, we will not be taking a machinist, we will not be taking, red mage, or whatever it happens to be, summoner. Like, you don't want that situation. And you've been in that situation a lot in your past, Frosty, right? We've seen it with
Yeah, and
White
I let a
Mage, too.
static and said, "Screw it, I'm gonna play anyways. I don't care."
Yep.
So it worked out for me.
So, like, removal of dots, I think is fine. We don't know what the other actions are going to do yet for the rotation.
I just no, I was just wondering if it's like if they're gonna change the rotation a lot in terms of removing the dots would be kind of like a DPS loss. For example, like in a 2-target fight, like I can think of ice on DSR where you could dot both ice.
The concern before,
and
like, 2 targets is not as nice as you might think it is, Saori, because your Goring Blade lasts longer than it would take to reapply it again. So you would do the other combo, and then it would fall off before you could put it up again. 2 target on Paladin was nasty.
oh,
Hmm.
really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
their physical AoE was not like advantageous to use on 2 targets either. Like Dark Knight, you just do your AoE, right? Like you don't use
Yeah.
Quietus, but you do your 2 target AoE.
Yeah,
Paladin's
yeah, yeah.
not so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they
That's
get 2
still.
burst windows too, right? So you can't just displace one forever.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think at this point it's just going to be what it is. Any job, any role that's not a healer is brain dead, anyways, right?
More or less. The healers are
Yeah.
too. If nobody's messing up, then you're just going to be pressing the one button
Just
over
play
and over.
Party Finder, dude. Everybody messes up. You're
I do it.
fine.
So much fun. You never know what to expect. And then you get the other healer who's running no piety at all, and you're like, "Can you res with me?" And they're like, "No,
No.
no, I can't."
Okay.
I mean, all you got to do is hit whatever the button that gives you mana is, and then you're good. All right?
So we know that finishing a combo is going to give you a Holy Spirit for free, right?
Yeah.
We don't know if that, like, they could just change rec entirely, right? Maybe Holy Spirit just chains into Confidia right off the rip if there's no dot attached anymore, or maybe you can pocket the stack and get more stacks,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then Royal Authority, what is it going to give you 3 stacks of Atonement and a stack of Holy Spirit? Or is it just not going to do that at all? Maybe Atonement's going to be a proc too. Maybe, I mean, they said they're just changing the other abilities, but we don't know in what way.
Yeah.
I
There's
think Circle of Scorn's staying though, right? Other jobs have a similar thing: Bow Shock, Orogeny, like Salted Earth. So I think Circle of Scorn's probably still going to be there and be a dot.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think they have been removing dots that are attached to a combo more than just a single GCD.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think
Do you
they'll
think
probably
cover's going to
stay.
be useful?
I recently
I don't
revisited
think
the
so.
old Omega fights, man, and dude, cover used to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible. A free, no gauge cost. You put it on a friend and it mitigated 20%. That was too strong.
Mm-hmm.
But like the way it is now, yeah, they got to do something about it.
I mean, they could be the permanent off tank, right? And just like cover the main tank constantly. Don't do taunt swaps. Just cover them and use your cooldowns. That's kind of what it was done a lot back in the old days, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
I feel like,
We,
but I feel like fights more now than before are more reliant on both tanks kind of like being main tank for more periods of the fight.
Well, okay, so that tether that gave the doom that you saw in the live letter, right? That used to be a paladin mechanic. Your bard would go out, and your paladin
Yes,
would
I
cover
remember
them.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then your paladin would also run away and Holy Spirit and stuff for the
Yeah.
giant chaser. Remember, they would hollow and get a massive amount of downtime.
Yeah.
Frosty, did
Unless
you have to do
you
that?
No, I'm going to be
you
honest.
didn't have a paladin.
That tier is when my static fell apart.
Okay.
So,
Dude, bards everywhere were like, I don't know how to bait. And so the paladin was like, I'll just stand there and let the AoE hit me for 10 seconds and live.
oh, man.
It was good times. I would like to see cover change. I would also like to see just PvPs intervene, right? Well, it's not jump to an ally and give them a shield.
Mm-hmm.
I originally, when they got a gap closer, I expected that. I was like, why not, dude?
That would be amazing, but at the same time, I'd like it if like you pushed them out of the way, like it's something that does a knockback too. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, what if Passage of Arms changes into being a channeled wings that comes out of you? What if instead it's like a little like rallied area around you as you're moving for that duration?
That would be great.
And instead
I
of
think
making you
passage is
block,
very limited.
it is limited. And I also feel like it should just mitigate 15% for you as well, because you're probably going to pair it with a block anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now if Sheltron doesn't make you block, I guess they could do that. I don't know. It's kind of a mess. Divine Veil not working on yourself, but being able to be procced late by popping it early, I do still like that.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't just activate right away. But they could change both of those as well. If they're going to make the class more defensive solo, I don't see a reason why it should keep 2 AoE defensives.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're gonna get rid of one of them since they're adding bulwark, or just add it and that's it?
Probably get rid of one of them.
Because
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I feel like they want to have the same for all tanks, like the same um personal cooldowns.
Imagine
Yeah.
So
if they
I
get
don't
rid
know.
of your gauge too for Sheltrons and it's just a flat button now. Because right now it's just used for
Could be.
defensives, right? Frosty, they're gonna gut your entire class, dude. You're
I'm
not
ready
gonna
for it,
recognize
dude.
it.
I don't care. Whatever. I don't play it. I don't play it anymore. I play Sage. Dude, that's
You
my
never
life
go
now.
back on it ever? You're never like, oh man, if I want a tank again, I've got it there.
Maybe next tier, dude. Maybe next tier. Like I'll beat it with Sage. I'll be like, I'm bored. I need to do something, and I'll play with. I don't know. It's tough. Like I am so obsessed with healing right now. Shield healing is so much fun in comparison to like everything else I've done. So I don't know. And I'm horrible at it, but I love just the support aspect and having to react to different situations. I feel like that's kind of enjoyable. They're not
That is
gonna
really
mess it
fun.
up. All they're gonna do is just make it a little bit simpler, and people are gonna be maybe be bored by it a little bit, and that's about it. I don't think there's gonna be anything too major with it.
Yeah. I expect anybody who might consider Paladin, if it's strong, they'll be able to just play it right away, like the day it changes.
It's not gonna take too much.
Yep.
All right.
Kind
So
of the way the game is gone.
yeah, and it doesn't feel great to be honest with you, but I've become kind of immune to it. There's so much more about the game that I care about than having
Yeah.
very in-depth jobs. I'd like it. What I'd really like is for them to go real hardcore and do different specs for different jobs. But
Like at level 99, they give you sub-job specializations or
oh
something.
man, that would be so good, wouldn't
I
it?
want that. I'm like, instead of 100, just give us 99. Then you'd open the floodgates, right? You don't even have to give us new jobs every expansion. Just give us more to do within your job. It would be fun. It would be so
They could
cool.
only do a couple jobs at a time, though, right? Because they can't redo all of them, or not redo all of them, but like add in that extra spec for all of them. It would
Yeah.
be much easier for them to completely rework a job and make it do a different role than it would be to create a whole nother job. I think, just a little
Well,
bit.
they could give it the ninja effect, right? Where throughout the expansion, each patch they release one job's specialization. That still means it's over the course of like 19 patches.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay. The other thing, there's a decent amount of things I want to talk about. All right, I'm gonna let you guys pick between PvP and Deep Dungeon. Which one do you want to talk about first here?
Theory.
I'm very excited about the deep dungeon
Okay.
that's coming out.
Okay.
It looks super cool. Like the whole theme and everything, the new actions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It looks very interesting. And I think they did a couple of different things with it. Like I was really excited about the Magitech, then I realized it's just two transforms combined into one, and I'm like, well, I guess that's
The
fine.
Dreadnought, or it's
Dreadnought,
Manticore
yeah.
The
plus plus.
Dragonaught.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I mean that's still interesting. There's some stuff with that. There's just so much they can really do.
We don't even know what all the pomanders are.
No, we don't.
I think there was like 19 spots or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was of course the new bio clone, right? That we got, which
The
we saw was
clone.
it was like what are their names again? It was it's like the two Allegan people that help you throughout the story, right? The memories.
Yeah. One starts with like a U, I think.
Une?
Yeah.
Une
was
and
two.
Doga. Was
Yeah.
Doga the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Une, thank you, Kimmy. Yeah. But it's like they help you for the entire floor, it looks like. They didn't have a timer.
So it seems like they're very similar to the Heaven on High Magicites, right? So we can probably expect 3 of them, maybe? Like Garuda.
Or 4. Magicites, there were 4.
Ifrit. And the rare one, the Odin.
Mhm.
So maybe a rare.
Maybe Zande, dude.
Mm.
But they help you. I'm assuming we're gonna maybe have like a caster arranged in like a melee, or maybe like a healer, a tank, and a DPS or something.
Tank DPS support.
Well, it's a clone. Doesn't it just copy what you? I thought it was just going to copy you.
Oh, it started casting, so I thought maybe it will just copy them. But then how do you have different kinds? Unless it's just one type and you can pocket 3 of them. Right? That's the other thing. But it's going to change the way you play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing a job that needs to CC enemies and keep them in place, if you accidentally pull more than one, like say you're going to bind something as a ranged, And then what happens if it attacks that enemy and frees them? Or you
Mhm.
sleep something, like, or it aggroes something, or it attacks because you're in combat, or you weren't trying to go into combat with something, you were just trying to control it so you can go past it. It's going to definitely change the way that you're approaching
Yep.
Yep.
floors now.
And I really do want to do like a race to first solo on that. But if I had the bandwidth, I would probably do it. I don't know how long it would take. I know they understand that's extremely valuable content to be able to make it very easily, not easily, but possible to solo, accessibly possible, I guess, to solo. And so I don't know if it's going to be something that happens within a day or if it takes like a week or so and there's going to be stuff that you have to figure out. I don't know.
Well, that race is a little bit more automatic, right? Because the leaderboards update with the
Yeah.
time that each person killed each final floor. So in a way, like, you could just do the old Google Sheet tracking. But the day one, you already know day one is not solo attempts, right? Day one is going to be people making a pre-made party of people who all want to race it and just grinding up their Aether pool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to get it up
Get all
before you
the
have to get at least 60
information.
before you're going to go up.
It's
Yeah,
true.
and that's the other thing too, right? Like, so I recently got Necromancer,
Congratulations.
which was really cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
took 6 attempts, and I did something other people didn't do. I blind progged it, which is
Mm.
probably
Good
not something
job.
you should do. I was on Warrior so that I could blind prog it. I ended up in a number of situations.
Nice.
Then towards the end, there were some veterans coming in from the deep dungeon community, and then I was getting to the final floors. Like, you don't want to blind prog this part. I was like, okay, just give me a heads up, and then I let chat kind of guide me a little. And I got to meet a lot of people, learn a lot of things about deep dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And this I think Orthos is going to be really good. It's got a lot of interest. Saori, are you going to try to pre-mate or are you going to try to solo?
Oh no, I think I'm gonna try to pre-mate. I don't. No,
There's a
I
lot
don't
of
know
money
about
to be made
solo.
too, right? There's like special mounts, minions, and stuff.
Oh yes, minions,
We saw the
mounts,
little
the
guy, the
hairstyle.
boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's a new hairstyle, a little spiky hair.
Yeah.
That'd be
Right.
really cool.
Yeah. That reminded me of the 90s haircuts, right? The little tiny frosted tips. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh-huh. You can go for the Justin Timberlake, right?
Oh, yeah. Those were good days. Those were good
Uh-huh.
days. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know about soloing, but
It was very
and it's
elegant,
probably.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You got like chemical
I
resource
love that
facility
about that.
vibes.
The elegant, the coils, the behemoth kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna say, it's probably gonna be 100 floors as well, right? Like Heaven on High.
I would expect that they could do something different. I was like biting my nails and crossing my fingers. I was like, if the last 10 floors, imagine if it was just a boss rush, right? Like
That
you
would
get
be
to the
fun.
last 10 and each floor is just a new boss. So you have no new pommanders or anything. So you just got to save what you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be a good idea. I mean, they could do a lot of different things for it. I don't know. It looks really cool, and I think the Allegan vibe was really great. It looked like an interesting boss just in general with the turnip Allegan robot. And just stuff in the ground, moving around and stuff. I don't know. I feel like they did a pretty good job, at least visually looking at it. I'm wondering, but yeah, things that they could do different is kind of the big curious part that I have. Is like the boss rush would make it more interesting. It is a grind getting. I guess you need to have that, right? You need some sort of leveling aspect to it to make it repeatable repeatable for content. I don't know.
Starting at 81 is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Heaven on High did something similar. I mean, it sucks to not have your whole kit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of it, right? Like 81 is it's not a bad spot. You have a lot of your kit available.
Yeah.
Well, Saori, how long do you think it should take to clear? Like let's say you're going out to pre-made party, right? And you guys have your Aether pool. What would be an enjoyable amount of time to climb?
Probably a few hours. I don't know.
A few hours.
Well, you get
I think Heaven
okay.
on High is
So
like 8 hours or
considering the
something, right?
bosses,
Mhm.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But,
a
like, you wanna do the
multi-day
whole
thing,
palace run,
right?
They make bosses.
Well, Palace is like a 16-hour thing if you want to do the whole set,
Yeah.
right?
This palace is 200 floors. I really don't think they're gonna do more than 100. Kind of like following the
Mhm.
trend with Heaven on High. And I guess
So
it depends on
like
the
30
boss
floors
fight.
for the story, you think? And then the extra
30
floors are the
floors.
bonus. So like have it on high. Floor 30 was the story, right? So from there
Oh,
you
right,
started
right,
at
right.
31 to
Yeah.
100. Would
True,
that be good
true.
enough, you think?
I think they're probably gonna do that. Yeah.
Hmm.
But as far as how long it will take, the mechanics from the first boss that they showed look really cool, but this didn't look too complicated. It was the first one, to be fair. Uh, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see like more difficult floors. I mean, you could probably wipe and then you have to start all over, so that would increase the time.
Mm-hmm.
We saw another boss in the trailer, right?
Did we?
Two
I thought the
bosses?
Hydra was one of the bosses. It
Mm.
might not be. There were 4 players in that arena, and it was very out like coily aesthetic in the background. I thought that was a different boss that they were fighting, maybe, and that had some line AoEs that you bait and move out of the way of,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what we saw for the first boss, it was kind of like tic-tac-toe arenas where you got to find what's safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
like it glows and you move, and then
hmm
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably going to be a set pattern, like there were in the other bosses. Like the deep dungeon community are really smart about what they do. Like they can even tell based on the aesthetic of a floor where you're expected to get certain traps and which traps have a higher chance of what. It's kind of cool. It's kind of
It's
really
really
cool.
cool.
So
Yeah.
I do hope that we see that level of intricacy with this as well. I also don't know if we're going to get like new types of debuffs, right? Like there's only so many things you can do: silence, blind,
Mm-hmm.
like reduced HP and stuff. But I guess they could change what's done and give us new types of buffs or debuffs for floors. That would be neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Reduce speed.
I think that's kind of the good part too, is not knowing all that and just kind of going in there and seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
I have a
Well,
lot
and
of
with
fun
the
with that.
introduction of Buzzja too, there's a lot of actions that came into play there that they could put
Mm-hmm.
into Deep Dungeon. Like what about like there was the Bloodlust one that makes it so that way your cooldowns are severely reduced, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the old what was it, the old arrow card
Mm-hmm.
or old spear. So they could do something like that, or maybe like a button that refreshes all of your buttons.
Yeah.
And then you can make use of like maybe there's a burst phase on a boss and you want to skip a mechanic and then you just like you do your 2-minute burst and then refresh it and do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pommanders.
Pommanders are fun.
They're very fun.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna have a few new ones,
Yeah.
considering that they also have the clone system and the the transformations.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Angelus is going to be really happy.
Oh,
It's his
for sure.
content.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to him. If you guys are unfamiliar, Deep Dungeon is going to be in GDQ, which is happening pretty
really?
shortly. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, is Angelus gonna have someone on the couch?
He is. Yeah, he's getting one person to be on the couch virtually with him. It's amazing. They picked some loser, but I mean, he's going to be there helping him just with whatever. Just
Idiot
talking
with a
about,
talk show, right?
yeah, some dude with a talk show or something. I don't know.
You guys had some good practice runs too.
I had fun with it. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how it went for like. Everyone seemed content with it, but I mean, for me, it's just
That was good.
doing my best.
And now with all this practice, right? You guys are gonna get there, and something's gonna go horribly wrong, and he's gonna die.
It's just gonna be awkward. We're just gonna sit
And he's
there
gonna
like,
be like,
what do we do?
No.
Because it's like Friday, like later afternoon, like one of the primest spots that we could probably have for GDQ.
But it's the perfect thing, right? If with the way patch is coming out and Ultimate's releasing, it's right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You actually don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be right in the evening, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends on which coast you're on. It'd be late afternoon, West Coast, evening, East Coast if you're in the U.S., right? It's gonna be a little late for EU, but it's just awesome. It's awesome to be able to have that, like just an hour to do that and show it off, and right after the new content comes out. So, like I think days after it comes out, right? Hold on.
Yeah. 3 days, right?
Yeah, the patch comes out, and then just 3 days later, we have GDQ. I bet
But
Angelus
I
is
mean,
gonna have fun with that.
one good thing to note about this is Orthos isn't even coming out that patch. Right?
Oh, that's right. That's right. When is it coming out?
Yeah.
It's 6.35, so that should be about 8 weeks.
0.35.
Okay, so it's a little
Yeah.
bit out. Okay, all right. So we'll have a little bit of excitement for that. Yeah,
Like
and
March.
we're hoping there's no DCs or anything horrible.
That would be
I
the
know.
worst.
Yeah. The thing is he has so much like prep done to like make sure it goes well. And I think the fastest run you could do that set is like in 20 minutes. So if it goes really horrible, he just has to really gun it and go like real crazy with it. And we should be okay. But we'll see how it goes. He's done this hundreds of times. So he's very familiar with it. It's like us going into, for like me going and doing an expert and not dying, right? That's really the the same thing for him. He's just so familiar with it.
If you even consider it to be that hard.
Yeah. So
I wonder if they'll do any disconnect, like safety. Maybe if you have that clone out, it'll act as a body in the instance.
Yeah.
So for anybody who doesn't know, when you disconnect in a solo run, or really in a party, if nobody's alive on the floor, it fails the run. So if you disconnect, you're kicked out. You got to start back over from the beginning. It's horrible.
That's pretty rough. Yeah.
I saw a clip of somebody who disconnected
Mm-hmm.
on floor 200 on the run to the bench.
No.
I would quit the game.
Be done with the game for a while. Like one of those frustrating moments where you're just like, all right, walking away, super angry, want to throw it. 10 minutes later, you come back and you start again.
Yeah, you take a break. I would not immediately start floor 1 again. I'll tell you that much.
That is something that would probably need to be fixed. It's something that's so long like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the problem is
if more eyes are on it now, because the community for Deep Dungeon right now is very small with people getting interested, right? But if a lot of eyes are on it, then it would become a priority.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we got the WoW players in, and then they gave us Criterion.
That's true.
After saying literally never many times.
But would you sit there with your modem next to you and just unplug the cable if you're in a bad situation in Deep Dungeon?
It doesn't matter, does it? Because it doesn't affect anyone else.
I guess it's true. Except
But
for
the opposite
leaderboards.
affects many people. That's true.
So
that's true. That's the tech, though. That's the next level tech.
Next level tech worry about disconnects. That. Yeah, we'll talk about that at GDQ. Oh, if you really, really need to just reset having a bad time, pull. Alt
F4.
All right. So the other thing, and there's a lot to talk about some of these other topics, but I'm just trying to make sure we hit some of these other ones here. PvP is something that I do want to talk about. If you guys might be familiar, I've been playing PvP for a long time. I've been doing PvP related things for a very long time. It's been kind of quiet for a little bit. I mean, how do you guys feel right now? How do you guys feel about the current state of PvP with the community? Does it feel like it's kind of slowed down a little bit? Yeah. You know what?
Nobody gives a shit, dude. They give the same rewards no matter what you rank now.
Yeah.
I know people were upset about things being exclusive in the feast, but nobody played the feast. People are playing Conflict and they gave us nothing. So now there's like, what's the point? And it's even like before, you at least would rank down to get the lower ranks rewards, right? But now that's not even a thing. If you get Crystal, you're done.
I was so frustrated. So people who have played Feast back in the day, and every time they mention Feast in a live letter, every time there's Feast on like an official stream or anything else, guess what emote pops up? Resident Sleeper everywhere.
Yep.
Just nothing but Resident Sleepers.
You get like the 5 people like, they said the thing. They said PvP.
Yeah. And then Crystalline Conflict came out, and then that kind of went away a little bit. People were excited. You didn't see Resident Sleeper anywhere.
Yeah.
I watched this fucking live letter. And as soon as PvP came up, that stupid emote, it was back. But yeah, it's kind of frustrating. I do want to see PvP come back and have a large amount of interest in it and everything else. but they just aren't. They aren't doing enough to like make the community interested in it. Although that map looks really good. It really does look good.
The map looks cool.
Yeah.
And there's
the Squid Games map.
So yeah. Oh man.
There's the gear also, right?
Is there new gear?
The season rewards, the series rewards. Yeah, it's so good. It's gorgeous. Have you not seen it yet, Frosty?
I actually don't. I think I might have missed it.
It is so cool.
You missed it.
I think I missed it.
Quit PvP. I knew you quit PvP.
Is it the new season rewards?
Here, I gave myself a permission to post a link in chat.
Oh, cool. I mean, I don't think you have to give yourself permission if you're a mod. I think it just does it.
It's like a cross between the diamond gear from Sigmascape and the Eden choir gear from Eden's Verse.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty cool.
the headpiece is like that one set that they always use to show off competing in PvP, but you can't actually get.
Yeah, that does look pretty good.
I actually really like it.
Yeah.
That's good, but you can get it from
go
Frontlines.
back
You don't
to
have to play Crystalline Conflict, and you don't have to play Ranked.
Oh, really?
That's only from just
Oh, I
playing
thought it
PvP
was-
at all. You could do your daily Frontline each day and do only that, and I think you'll either hit 25 or close to it. You'll get the reward. But like they did bring back Decay, right? They brought back Decay to the Crystalline Conflict after Plat, which still presents the same problem it presented before, and it's everything that leads to no Decay is effectively the same floor. If you're in Plat, you could still be bronze level because it's just a number of games won.
Yeah,
and that sucks.
Yeah.
And then once you get to Crystal, it's the same issue that was with the Feast, right? It's the same exact problem. People get to a comfy ranking that they know they're going to stay on the leaderboard, and then they stop playing. They queue down, is what people call it, and you're just chilling. And then if nobody's playing the game mode, rankings aren't changing. If rankings aren't changing, you're good.
Yeah.
And then there's Blackout Week, where nefarious stuff does not happen, and leaderboards change miraculously, mysteriously, and with new names that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So what we needed with PvP was just a proper moderation that would lead to confidence and rewards that were really exciting from actually competing and getting higher on the leaderboard. Those are the two big things. They do that. Everybody loves PvP. I think the mode's fine. I think it's an enjoyable mode. There's some things that I liked about Feast. Like I felt a little bit more important in Feast than I feel.
I mean, I think I'm a minority here saying I missed the Feast. It was more fun for me, but that's because once you got into higher ranked games, you felt like you were contributing more.
Yeah.
Right. Crystalline Conflict doesn't exactly feel that way, but it is high paced. The matches are so fast that you don't really stay angry. And if a team starts to snowball, it's not necessarily one sided as long as you guys can regroup and not trickle in and die. So like you're not punished as much, right?
Yeah.
But with the Feast, it was a bit punishing, and you had to learn how to CC properly and burst properly. But I liked that.
Yeah.
I do like the pace of Crystalline Conflict. I am excited about the new map because we've had the same maps for a while now, and yeah, I mean,
say that again. Say what you just said. Sorry, we've had what?
The same three maps.
The same. You said maps.
Wow.
Multiple. Yeah. The Feast we won for like years.
Well, I don't really
sorry.
Imagine being stuck in the leak and feed. Imagine Crystalline Conflict being in the leak and feed for like 4 years, dude.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound so condescending and horrible. I did.
Frosty's just mad because they hurt him.
I mean, they need to add more to the Feast as well, then. And I do like the pace of Crystal Conflict, and you can just, if you lose, you can back up. And if you win,
how do you feel about maps being locked in for an hour and a half?
Locked in?
Like you're stuck to one map. You could pick a job based on it, right? But like, it causes queues to be lower during like Cloud 9, for example.
Yeah, I think it should just be that it's random, like at all times, right? Like you can get all 4. different ones.
I agree 100% that
Mhm.
it should be random. I think the reason why people think this is great is because they could play different jobs, and they can say, well,
You're
this
like, oh,
job's
it's this
stronger.
rotation. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. But I like, instead, it being completely random and they have to deal with whatever's thrown at you. I love Cloud9. It's so much fun.
Same. Well, if you're a warrior dragoon combo, it's a lot of fun.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of sad that it's hated by the community so much. It's going to disappear. But we'll get this other map. This map does look, again, it looks fun. The tiles look fun. You got to keep running or you're going to blow up. I think people are going to have fun with that mechanic. Just teleporting around the doorways is going to be a lot of fun. Dodging the dummy AoEs is going to be
Oh
pretty
yeah,
fun.
because if you're like contesting a point and it's lasting for like 3 minutes in overtime, that dummy's just gonna walk up and end the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
that's gonna be
it's gonna blow your guard, right? And then the fight's gonna end after that anyways. I thought it was so much fun. It's like combining elements of Cloud of Darkness with like the Diablo skates, right? Back from was it Amdapor Keep or something?
Yeah. Well, those were just matching, right? That's all you had to do with those.
Yeah, but it's the same thing here in one essence where there's a portal that will lead to another, right? Like you have to there's a little white arrow on your minimap that leads to the black arrow's gate. But effectively, they took things that we've seen in gimmicks before in dungeons and stuff and like implemented it into a fight. I think that's so cool. So what's gonna happen? Like somebody is gonna pop guard on a tile, and then they can't move very fast, so you're gonna get on the tile and proc it so it blows up on them. That is pretty cool.
There's a lot to mess around with. We'll see how that strategy kind of evolves.
Yeah.
I mean, if it does.
And then Doga was dropping little limit break monies, right?
That, as soon as I saw that, everyone that played Feast was like, they brought it back.
Yep.
Got medals again.
That was pretty cool.
And it just helps your limit break, which I think a lot of people are going to be have a lot of fun.
I think
with
they said it drops at least once per match, maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's going to become a game of like, do we dump our LBs and pick up more now, or do we wait and maybe the enemy team will pick them up?
Well, Saori, did you play Feast at all, or are we just being like old people?
I did not play Feast.
Oh,
no.
sorry,
I did
we're
play
old.
CC, but not Feast. No.
Okay. There having 4 maps is actually pretty nice. I think it's going to be not seeing Cloud9 disappear. Whatever, it is what it is. But I know people are going to be happy, but they have to actually encourage people to play the mode still, right?
Yes.
So I don't know.
More rewards.
The PvP rewards look great, but people are just going to play front lines, I think.
Yeah.
And they're going
because
to...
it's not tied to the game mode. Feast was tied to the game mode if you wanted what you got. And the wolf collars now that people just grind, those were also like ranking exclusive.
So they have a lot of work they need to do with PvP to bring that back. I mean, they're going to do the JP event. They already did the NA and true. EU events, and then they're going to do a JP event over there as well. And that should round off, the region community championships. And I think a lot of these were, my hope is understanding what the community is going to play like in a team environment and fixing out any of the kinks. So then they could do it for FanFest. Yeah.
At FanFest.
And it's going to be a Frostian +1.
I don't
casting
know, man.
the Vegas FanFest.
We'll see. We'll see. SE may be tired of me casting PvP.
You say that, and every year you're right back in there involved again.
I mean, I love it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm cheap. But I don't know. Maybe things can always change with that stuff. I never consider that stuff guaranteed. I mean, FanFest coming up, the only extra announcement they had was or 2 announcements, was the JP information, right? And the other one was the orchestra information. Isn't that it for FanFest they gave for info-wise on this live letter? Okay.
I do like. I mean, it's a smart move to put the orchestra the same weekend as FanFest because all the Final Fantasy people are going to be in town.
Yeah.
It's like a
Very
day
far.
after, right?
Yeah.
Or
But you
a
gotta
day or two
go.
after.
Gotta go change your hotel reservation.
People are getting worried about
Definitely.
the tickets, but I'm like, they always go on sale shortly before.
Uh,
Not quite. They don't give you
Really
like a whole
before?
year, but
it's
it's gonna
probably
be a bigger
next live
venue
letter.
too.
Next live letter
Yeah.
is they're probably going to follow up with information and give you a date on it.
Yeah.
It is stressful. Getting tickets is
I
super
heard too.
stressful.
They sell out in like a minute. The website will
I
crash
heard they sell
immediately.
out so fast.
Yeah,
See,
no, I'm just
I'm
saying like
so scared.
literally a minute. Not anything more. If you are not there the second it goes up, the site's gonna go down and you're not gonna be in queue.
mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I've done a couple fan fests now, and I could tell you that it is that stressful every time. It is that tight every time.
I have gotten tickets to every. I've purchased tickets to every single fan fest so far, for NA at least.
So as
And-
long as you're there at that time.
yeah,
Well, no, because if everybody's there at that time, you're still competing.
yeah.
There are people who get all the way to checkout, and then they complete the checkout, and it's like, sorry, not available anymore.
No. Oh no.
We'll have to see if they
Best,
can.
best thing you could do is like they let you purchase like 4 tickets or something. So best thing you could do is like get a couple of friends and like try to pool in, and whoever gets them first purchases them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the
Right.
other 3 just leave the queue, and then you distribute.
Yeah, I mean that's usually what it is. You just go with, you get friends together, and you all have like this pack of helping each other get tickets if it comes down to it. I always get 4 tickets, which is usually the cap that they allow, and I make sure that the friends who didn't luck out with their timing on it, they get a ticket. And if for some reason I still have a ticket, I find some, helpless soul, and I make sure they get a ticket too.
Like almost $300, right?
Yeah, they're well, I don't know. They're like always usually around 200 range. I think 150, 200 range. Maybe probably 300 would make sense, but I don't know how many tickets they're gonna be able to give out. I don't know. The venue is completely different. It's not actually in a casino this time. It's like by itself in a convention
It's
center.
a proper center, which
Yeah.
means more people can go.
But are they going to utilize all the rooms?
I don't know. Did they? I would think so. Last time they went over fire marshal cap. Remember that? That was a big thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. I'm interested to see what it's going to look like, not being just one big room.
Oh yeah, that's another. I didn't even think about that. Before it was one hall.
I
You saw
know.
everything. You went
Yeah.
into the room and you saw everything.
It's gonna be my first fan fest that I go to. I'm very excited. I hope I can get tickets.
You'll get tickets. Don't
You'll
worry.
get tickets. Don't be worried.
Don't
You'll be good.
You'll have a friend. You'll either have a friend. Like again, Square Enix also, like, for a lot of the content creators, they'll reach out, but they always do it after tickets
Really?
are sold. I mean, I don't
Oh,
know.
no.
Maybe not. I mean, they could have a certain pool, and then like I always assume I'm not going to get invited as a media guest, but they do invite media guests.
Didn't you say you went one time and they changed out your pass because you had a regular one or something?
I think so.
Actually,
I don't-
now that I'm thinking about it, I've seen Happy in like there has been like a front row like guest.
VIP. Yeah, they did
yeah,
VIP
yeah.
the first fan fest, and they got rid of that. Like actually you purchase VIP, but then they also have a media pass sometimes.
Like people who need a good angle on recording and stuff.
Yeah. The last one when we went to Paris, I was fortunate enough to get a staff pass, and that was fun. Because then I could just go anywhere. I was able to get it and kind of roam the halls and just make sure everything was that I was comfortable. So that was good. But no, I don't expect more than just a regular pass. I think there's a little bit of confusion in the last one. Anyways, little details.
Yeah, it'll be better this time.
Yeah.
It'll be better this time.
It'll be better this time. They actually, I think they kind of fixed the merchandise issue that they had, like, way back when.
Oh my god, dude.
So, where you
My
pre-order
partner
it?
waited in 8 hours before. But yeah, now you pre-order it and you pick it up. So before it was like you waited in line and like you didn't know what was there, what was out, and you couldn't leave the line because if you did, you just weren't getting in.
And it could take the whole day.
Oh, no.
It did take the whole day.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
wow.
really bad. So, but now it was like, okay, what you want, order it online, and then when you show up, it's still a line to pick up your stuff, but it's guaranteed that your stuff is your stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, we'll see. But But I recommend it. It's literally the most enjoyable thing to go to the East Fan Fest, just to be there. The panels are great and cool, but that's not the highlight ever for me.
You go for the people.
Yeah,
At least I do, right? And they have like the server boards, the server walls.
Mm-hmm. If they,
it's like you get to go up to your server and sign. If they still do it, yeah.
Oh,
So like
really?
I was in Balmung, so oh man, I was on Balmung. We all signed our stuff, and then they were like, "Balmung's moving. Here's Crystal Data Center." And then all the Balmung people after that was announced went back to the board and were like, "Where are we going?" Because nobody was staying. Because they moved it away from they like moved it away from all the rating servers, right? So all the statics that had members split had to then figure out what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's incredible. I'm gonna tell you something too. If you think you're like good friends with people online now, wait till you meet them in person. It becomes that much better. And like there might be people who you get pissy with online too, and like they don't like you don't like them. Maybe you compete for ranks or like teams against each other, and all that just goes away.
Yeah.
When you're just like real people, like all that like PF drama where people are just like ruthless because it's just a name on a screen, that all goes away.
Yeah. All you do is you just hate the journalists that come and ask stuff about ERP the entire time.
That's true.
That's
oh no.
You all kind of band together against him, yeah.
I went there and I asked the only raid question. I was like, I get up there, I'm like, as a raider in 14, I just heard like the crowd go wild, and I asked my question about Omega. It was actually about the way a mechanic worked because we didn't know, and then Yoshi was like, "It's bugged." Like he didn't want to answer it at first. He's like, "It's bugged," and then the next person's like, will we ever get playable children in 14? That was the next question. I was like,
no way.
And he's like, "No, you won't."
Yeah.
And then the next person's like, "How old is our warrior of light canonically?" So we can. He's like, "There's a reason we're vague. You get to pick."
Yeah.
It was so bad, dude. And then the next person's like, "Are you aware of ERP?" I was like, "What are these questions?"
Mm-hmm.
Concern?
Yeah. Yep.
Didn't ask those questions.
But
that was just a free line. Normally they have like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, we'll see how they do it this time. And there's so many question marks for FanFest. This is going to be a big FanFest. Either way, it's going to be huge because this is the 10th year, right? Anniversary, and they want to make sure it's a really big event.
Mm-hmm.
And NA always has that big event where they release the trailer for the next expansion and all that great stuff. So
the president of SC's there, right? Showed up in Blue Mage outfit last time.
Yeah. And then there was
no, actually, will you marry me is an appropriate question. Absolutely. Joe never did that, right? He proposed to Yoshi at the first FanFest.
Oh, did he? You know what also
also accepted something he wasn't supposed to.
He went on, no one was responding to the ticket, and he walked up stage. He's like, "Hey, I won. They looked at his ticket, it wasn't the right one, and they're like, all right. This is an awkward situation. Oh, God. Anyways, all right. So, the one thing with the orchestra concert, I just want to make sure it's still a primal concert during the actual FanFest. They're not splitting it off into like the music into a whole separate day, because that would make me really upset. I would want to make sure. I don't know. I'm guessing they're still going to have the primal concert in the regular FanFest. It would make sense.
The regular FanFest still had the concert and the piano concert as well, separate events, right?
Yeah, it's just a huge lift to move the orchestra like event to another day. So I don't know if they were going to do music every night and then another orchestra event.
Although, I mean, the orchestra could be there in case Soken's health is not appropriate for a Primal's concert, right? Like that was one of the things I thought of too, is if they have them there together, like even though he's on the mend, still anything could happen, right? So you don't want to put too much burden on the man. Yeah, we love him.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Again, we'll probably know more on the next live letter. And next live letter is probably like, what, 3 months away, 2 months away, 4 months away? I don't know. It's a bit out.
Like around May, probably?
You think in May?
No, I think it's probably going to be shortly before PAX East. They always do one right around that time. And it's either to announce where they will be, because that's when conventions start happening. And then leading into the next patch, right? The next patch is probably in March or April.
Yeah.
Like 6.35. It can't be too much more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Probably like a little before the next patch.
Oh my goodness, now I'm starting to think about it. Guys, we have the Ultimate World Race that's coming up next month. Then we have the Savage World Race. Then we're done for quite a bit for raiding races, likely.
We have, yeah, Ultimate World Race, Deep Dungeon, Savage World Race, immediately followed by Final Fantasy 16 into FanFest. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen.
Criterion is the only thing that would be left for like raid wide or raid raid type.
Unless they surprise us with like another 48 player thing like they did. But we don't have like a Eureka or a Boastra this time around.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sucks. That's going to be like 6 months, dude, of nothing. There's not, well, even more. There's not going to be another.
The last like Savage or Ultimate World Race.
Savage is it.
Yeah, we have over a year before we have another Savage or Ultimate. Because the expansion can't release
the Hell Mode event again like they did before, right?
Yeah,
and we could do that.
I mean, yeah, we could do community events for sure. But it's a bit out, man. I can't imagine an expansion coming in any sooner than summer 2024.
I would expect them to slow down the release if anything, not speed it up, right? They're already still catching up.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Oh boy, you know what? Let's talk about another topic here that I want to bring up. We've been kind of it's not that much of a tangent. It's a small tangent, but I want to talk about this. Gold Saucer. Gold Saucer is actually
the new Chocobo racing map.
What the hell's going on, man? What's happening? Like
what's the last unique thing we got in the Gold Saucer? Was it the Yojimbo stuff?
Mahjong was like the
Mahjong was the latest.
I mean the latest like bigger type of content, right?
Yeah.
But
even mini games. What's the last time we got a new one? And I don't mean like a Leap of Faith map, because surely that's not what they're doing.
Surely.
Surely, Air Force One is one of the newer ones, right?
I don't know how.
I think the Yojimbo thing where you gotta like find.
Yeah, to dodge the
slices, right, or something.
The slices, yeah, the bamboo.
We need something that's actually like, I was excited for this whole expansion thinking about the next Gold Saucer thing, because man, it has been like just a little bit here, a little bit there. Now, if they're gonna announce something, if they're gonna put something else in another patch, sure, that's great. But man, I feel like a Feast player right now in terms of Gold Saucer stuff, just waiting for something really exciting to happen.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think Blitzball would be the coolest thing they could put in there.
Blitzball, they could do Blitzball, they could do snowboarding, they could do literally whatever.
When I think of Gold Saucer, right, Original 7, the snowboarding, and then the arena where you just fight monsters.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, if you do like a battle arena, it would be huge for a lot of players.
They could even do like an RP solo instance kind of thing, right? You know, like where they make you Thancred or something. Sometimes they could do something like that where you have limited actions, so that every person can play it and they're all on the same playing field.
Yeah, they could do that. Man, it would be so great if they did something with Chocobo Racing. It'd be just nice. Just anything. It's been 7 years. Almost.
Okay, not only has it been that long, there has been like there's been supported events, right? Butterfinger.
Mm-hmm. Well,
supported a Chocobo.
Right.
Well, they did. I mean, it wasn't like by SE or anything, but it had enough eyes on it that they could give us something, a new map, put us in space or something, right?
Yeah.
Like
Gold Saucer in space.
Gold Saucer in space.
Okay, what if they made a pixel map for Chocobo Racing, like an old like a regrade, right? Like you did like a Final Fantasy 7 type style, like
that would be good.
Chocobo race.
That would be good. You know, you're talking about space. That kind of reminds me of something. You know, what if they put it on like the moon or something, and then they like added in like some rabbits, and then
like
they
the
gave
Lockreeds are hosting the map.
Yeah, crafting and gathering stuff involved with it or something. You know,
that
like
would
a
be
DJ
cool.
booth.
Yeah, DJ booth would be awesome. Maybe a cool little like pink elephant or something that you could ride around on.
Yes. Oh wait.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
That mount.
Uh-huh. Oh my
You know what?
god.
So I used to go to this place when I was little. I grew up in like the Boston area, and we went to this place that was kind of
You
like Chuck E.
sound
Cheese.
like you grew up in the Boston area. That's starting to make some sense.
Holy shit! Listen, forget about it.
No, keep going.
I
Keep
worked
going.
Forget
I worked
about
really
it.
hard to get rid of my Boston accent. I'll have you know, but sometimes it steps out. Sometimes it steps out.
Yeah.
I'm just one of those fucking guys, right?
Yeah.
But there was a place we used to go to, and it was called Space Center.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big space themed like amusement center. It was really cool. And then now we're getting this space themed amusement center with rabbits and
Yeah.
hopefully cardboard pizza.
Cardboard pizza would be great. Would be great. I think that's interesting. I'm going to be straight up and honest with everybody here. I am not a crafter gatherer by any means at all. It literally, I know it's in the game, and I've done it to like brainlessly try to level up because I'm supposed to level it up, and then I've never had any interest, anything in it, and I feel horrible about it because it's so good in this game compared to other games.
Manual
chance
crafting
to
is a lot of
level.
fun.
Huh?
Oh, I haven't even done the newest beast trap because I can't. I don't have a disciple of land that's ready for it.
Mm.
That's how
It's
you
fun.
can level. You do the Moogle ones, and then you do
Yeah.
up to like what, level 60?
But
Do you
it's-
like
Then
the
you go from
crafting
there.
and gathering stuff, Saori, in this game?
Moogles is Crafter Gatherer.
Okay.
Okay.
What did you think of the last beast trap? Do you like the story?
I haven't done it because
Yeah, I like crafting and gathering. Oh, did you do the newest content
I
made
do.
explicitly for them? No.
but all my crafters and gatherers are max level, so I didn't really have like a pressure to like, okay, I'm gonna go do them.
What about the mount? Mount's cute.
Yeah, the mount is super cute.
Yeah.
Wait, do you
I
watch
just-
the story or do
yes.
you skip the story in games?
No, I did watch it.
Okay.
I don't skip. But I haven't had time to do anything extra like side quest and the tribal quest or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It is extra. It's just extra BS. No, I'm just kidding.
The
It's
dwarves were
good.
cool. They
It's
gave you a
good.
tank. That was really fun.
Yeah, that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
I don't have
Actually,
that
the
tank,
Moogles
by the
were
way.
cool too, right? They rebuilt the Churning Mist area. That was neat. Although I'm pretty sure when that came out, everybody was already ready to just strangle the shit out of Moogles.
They were still why? They're just doing their thing, man.
They sent you on so many
Don't hate
fetch
the
quests in the
Moogles.
MSQ, remember? They were like, yeah, just go do this. And like, they were being little shits.
they're not all my spirit animal, but they're kind of like a spirit animal to me.
I liked it. I thought it was really cool because I'm like, Good King Mog does exist. You remember when there was like, because in Gridania, they were like, here's this folk tale about this great King Moogle. And then they summoned him. And then you finally see like the real one. I was like, that's the guy.
Yeah. Man. By the way, Great King Moogle being sung by God, Koji Fox.
Danny Elfman. Oh.
Yeah. Is actually a sight to see. He does a really great job with it. I hope they do that.
Ravana too.
Yeah. 100%.
Like if you guys haven't seen, dude, his voice range is so good.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It's crazy.
Also getting to see Yoshi come out and perform.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever going to do it again, but according to him. But
He says that, and then he got a special yukata like tailored for one song.
Sorry, Saori.
We're old.
No,
Very sorry. You're gonna have all these stories too after your fan fest.
Yeah.
True. I can't wait. I'm super excited for FanFest.
Well, the other thing, again, I'm not super excited for crafting gathering and all that stuff, but another thing that I'm not super excited for is Island Sanctuary.
Island Sanctuary?
Island Sanctuary.
I just don't care. I'm sorry. I feel really
I
bad
think
about
Island
that.
Sanctuary is good.
Huh?
But I think it's really good. But if you want to just kind of like chill, relax, it's not because you can have like timers for everything. At first you do gather, but then kind of
Oh, did
manages
you set up
itself,
the
I
automated
guess.
stuff?
Yeah.
I have not done
I
that
didn't
yet.
finish I didn't finish to like leveling it, but I did a little bit.
Yeah, it's like halfway through or something. You unlock the ability for the mammoths. You have to pay them though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you have to get the materials and then you just set it up for like the week and then go back.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt
People know
like
liked it
crafting and
though right
gathering
away.
in a way
Well,
to me.
it's not just crafting and gathering. People optimized it too, like
Yeah.
right away. And they're like, here, if you don't redeem these things, then you can't get these achievements.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay.
Yeah.
But it was
You
fun for
can
a little
go
bit.
yeah, and the rewards though, I think the rewards are pretty good for that Island Sanctuary. And we're getting like I believe a new outfit possibly.
That outfit was cute.
Mm-hmm.
They should have put that outfit
It's
in PvP. The Crystalline Conflict. You know how many people
We're getting
would...
a whole new armor
the
set.
bathing suit?
Yeah, no, bathing suit
The
would
bathing suit.
100% be more interesting for
Or
PvP
PvP.
years than the gear.
Okay. If you had a top 10, if you had a top 10 reward, or even top 100 reward, right? That gave you a butt slider, everyone would PvP.
Yeah. I mean, they could have just made the 2B item.
They could even release and call it 3B.
Yeah. They could.
Everyone would play.
Square Enix taking notes.
Oh my god. We'll see. I don't know. Island Sanctuary, it's good content. I'm glad it exists. But I wish other content got more attention than Island Sanctuary.
It's massive, but it's not.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like the other contents, like Eureka and Bowstrat. They're both massive until they're not. And what I mean is, once you know the routes to go and what you're looking for, you ignore like 95% of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Island Sanctuary was for me. I had a lot of fun for like the first week, and then it was like,
it's the thing to
done.
do with the community, right? Everyone's experiencing new
Yeah.
content together. That was the majority of the excitement.
yep, because everybody's invested, and then you're done, and you're like, well, that was something that I did.
Yeah.
How long did it take people to level to max level? Like a couple of days, I think.
Yeah, there was somebody who was done in one day. I was done in like 3.
You just have to
So a lot of key presses.
pick up sand, right?
Yeah, there was a little circuit I did that was really, really efficient, and that was it. But it was lame.
Yeah.
Because that became very boring very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not, there's not too much to really say on it. I mean, they're doing some stuff with it, but I feel like compared to the other stuff like Ultimate, I'm really excited for, right? Deep Dungeon, I'm excited for. Figuring out what the new Paladin stuff, I'm excited for. FanFest stuff, I'm excited for. But when it comes to all this that kind of content, it feels so like tiny and insignificant compared to everything else. They said spearfishing.
That doesn't even talk about like the MSQ. Okay, we're getting spearfishing in Lenosha, and I was like, I didn't even think that was unlocked until Stormblood, dude.
I just saw that. I'm like, oh yeah,
I need
that's
to
in the
level.
game. I don't know. I'm bad. I guess I'm not as dedicated of a Final Fantasy 14 player as I thought I was. I don't know. There's so many times, by the way, and that's just me being old and not playing as much, I guess, as like I used to. But then like I'll do something, and be like, yeah, I'm doing this because this is how this works now, or this is how it works. And then I figured out it was patched like an expansion ago to work differently
works anymore.
Yeah. I can't remember like what was the last situation that was there, but I feel like I run into that constantly where I have these bad habits because of the way the game works, but it just doesn't work that way anymore. Jeez.
Like Island Sanctuary could give us more personalized housing on top of what they gave us with it, but we also did just get an announcement of a bunch of new wards coming to everybody, right?
Ooh, we're
They
getting
said-
a lot more houses.
Didn't they say
Except
some?
for some servers.
Yeah.
Except for the ones that
Well,
don't have them all sold yet.
The new
Which is fair.
ones. Like,
Yeah, they said they're going to add the wards, but they won't be purchasable because there's still purchasable plots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's going to be exciting.
yeah, I feel like Dynamis, for example, still has a lot of houses available.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lottery system, you can only win so many times, right? And everybody's going to bid on the same large ones until there's only smalls.
Mm-hmm. And then they're going to kick people out of houses again.
Yep.
Demolition is
Which is
restarting.
nice to not have to go inside of my house every month.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, no. I lost a house one time because I would always be there. I would always go, but I was always outside, like with the striking dummy and stuff. And I
But just
never
not
went
inside.
inside, so then
Yeah.
I lost it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that happen too.
In your houses.
The house that I'm currently in is my wife's house. She doesn't play the game anymore. And I have to remind her, before I would just have to remind her, hey, log in. So the house doesn't go
Hey,
away.
patch the game.
Yeah.
Log in.
Yeah.
Resubscribe.
Yeah. And so I have to convince her to do that. I need to get my own house. Maybe I'll do that with this new release of houses. I don't know.
A lot more chances.
A new
to
lottery
win.
system. It would be really cool to just have the option to sell it to someone instead.
Yeah, but all the gross stuff
I know they
comes
don't
in
want
line.
price gouging. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But before it was nefarious, right? Like you had to give it up and then buy it at the same time. But now, imagine if you could just transfer rights for it. Like
Mhm.
I played a game before, and it was all automated to the website where you could do that. If you wanted to sell it, people would put up the price. Somebody else
Tibia.
would agree, and that was it. Yeah, I've talked about that before. You already know.
Stupid.
You already know.
game.
But I still think it was the best housing system that ever existed.
Because it fit
All
like
that-
the amount of players that were playing it, right? I mean, it felt like, I guess it was kind of balanced to where
There were still players who didn't have housing, yeah. But the way it worked was like, so you'd go to buy a house, right? And you could bid on as many houses as you want, but you could only win one.
Mhm.
And all the houses just started with no timer. And then once somebody put their opening bid on a house, it now had 7 days. Whatever the highest amount bid by the end of it would win. And say you put up 10 million gil. If nobody else is bidding against you, it would take 0 because nobody else bid. And if somebody else bid and they only bid 10,000, it would take 10,001. So it would take the minimum required to win. But it would take all of your money that you put into it and reserve it at the time. So that you couldn't like just go around bidding on everything.
Mm-hmm. I'm so
I
sorry.
really like that. Sorry, Saori. I'm talking about a game that nobody in the world
That
plays.
literally like
nobody
10
in the
people
world plays.
might be familiar with it ever, and like unless if it has a whole history.
How many
of
years
people-
ago was that?
It came out in 1996.
Was it 1996 when that came out?
Well, in 1995, the German creators put it up
Chipsoft, yeah.
as their Kipsoft put it up as their senior project in school, and in 1996 they opened their first server, which would later become Antica.
Yeah, I remember that. And then had
And then I
characters.
started playing it in 1998.
Then they made
And I
Nova
stopped playing it
eventually.
in 2007. They did make Nova eventually, and
Yeah.
that was where Bubbles
Oh, let's
played.
stop this,
who was
Red.
first
Let's
level
stop.
100.
Let's stop.
Yeah, we gotta stop. I'm sorry. I am so old. I am so old.
It is
It is way off topic too.
It's super like it is a huge part of my history that I could talk about a lot because I spent years in it, and I was like pre-teen age when I was playing it. I was like in the 12, 13. That was the range I was playing this game, and it was when it was evolving, and it was just the people
Don't
who
let
had
us fool you,
shitty
Saori. It was a
computers.
horrible game.
That's the game they played. And they didn't have any money. That's the game they played until housing came out. Then they required like a premium subscription, and you had to do it.
That was like RuneScape kind of.
Yeah.
But imagine Saori playing a game where when you died, even if it was in a raid, you lost 10% of the total amount of experience and skills you would gain from level 1. Not your current level, but from level 1. So you would lose like 3 months of work in one. If you disconnected, boom, 3 months gone.
and people
And,
could
and your
No,
inventory,
Stop,
your inventory
Rid, we gotta
drops to
stop.
the ground,
We
and
gotta
people
stop.
could pick it up.
No,
And
no,
that's what we're fondly remembering.
It's just-
that sounds horrible.
it was,
say that.
but it's what we had. It's what we had, and it's Final Fantasy 14.
It's a great game.
Great game.
It doesn't hurt us.
Yeah, doesn't hurt us, man. But it was It doesn't hurt us nearly as much. The other things, live letter, main story quest coming out, great. You know, people are excited for Zero being a paladin, I guess, is the thing that everybody's saying, right? The rumor, the whatever, from the images and everything else. Huh?
From the trailer?
Yeah.
You think so? I think that Zero's going to be able to just play whatever she wants, right? If she's like a warrior of light of that place.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad people have a new character to be obsessed with. That's good.
Zero's awesome.
Yeah.
You're a Zero simp?
Yeah.
I am, yeah.
Me too.
A lot of people are. A lot of people are.
And she's gonna be added to the what's it called, to the dungeons that you can go in with the
Maybe that's why she's a paladin, because she, like Grahatia in the first, where she could play any of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's duty support for her in the new dungeon. That makes sense too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I am curious. Do you all do the first run of a dungeon with your trust? Or do you actually queue up?
I queue up with friends.
I do it with trust every time. Every single time.
I did the one in Elpis with
good.
trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I did Heidelin with trust, because I thought that was really cool.
It was, yeah. Definitely.
100%. I feel like you're supposed to do it with trust.
It adds so much to the story.
Yeah.
They also do the mechanics better than some people.
Mm-hmm.
But they already know what to do.
And then you don't really get the feel to dungeon if you queue up, because they're like, all right, how do I pull fast and push forward? I like to sit there and look around and not feel any stress and absorb the dungeon. I feel like you don't get that when you queue up immediately.
Is it because if you queued up with other people, Frosty, they go so fast that you would break the tennis balls on your walker?
Yeah. I need those tennis balls to be in good shape when I scoop myself across the floor, yeah.
Saori, do you zoom when you do your first dungeons with friends, or do you take your time?
No, I do take my time. I do tell them to, like, wait. I want to see this, and I want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do take time.
I don't know. Something about like playing solo and paying attention to story and stuff. It's like an intimate thing for me, right? I enjoy doing it on my own and not having anyone else around, and just taking it in, not having any kind of thought about, oh, I need to entertain or do anything else. I like to just do it and be done. I mainly, when I stream, I only do Party Finder, because that's just literally, I don't have to think about.
I think I've had like a skewed way of handling it though, right? Because they always like lock the new trial behind MSQ, so our static just splits into two parties and rushes it to get to the extreme.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Before anybody could spoil it.
Yeah.
But this time around, that's going to be fine, because we have 2 weeks to do the extreme before we get our new ultimate.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to do the extreme to do ultimate either. It's just a fun thing to do, right?
But it's nice to do the extreme if you want to do it blind before people start spoiling it, because somebody all wants to.
Yeah. Not doing a world race for extreme. You know how many people have actually asked me that? And I'm like, no, there is no way that I could do a world race event for a 1 to 2 hour fight.
That fight's going to be dead in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Frosty, what about a race for the first 48 player Delubrum? You said no to that too.
That was a whole different scenario. All right. That was a whole different thing.
It was fun.
Oh man. Yeah.
You're going to do it for Deep Dungeon, right?
If streaming was my full-time job, I would. Absolutely. I would do a race every time every patch would have a race for something. But unfortunately, I have to be a normal loser working in IT. I hate it.
What if? Oh, would it be possible? Hold on. What if you could get some Deep Dungeon players, and you can fourth man as the cameraman on the day of release, And so the players who are progging it throughout can explain to you what they're looking for, what's happening, and how they're thinking about doing things, so that you're casting it while experiencing it with people who know their stuff.
And I'm making the dungeon a little bit harder for him.
Of course, because you're an affix, right?
You know what? I don't think there's been a solo run with 3 other people just in the group.
Just watching. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just watch, right? I mean, that's what I would. If I was in a pre-made and I wanted to experience it blind, right? And you wanted to prepare for solo, you'd each go a different direction every floor, right? Mm-hmm. And you'd start like troubleshooting what ads do what, because then if somebody dies, your cameraman just gets you up.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
Well, okay. So the other thing is, we're all forgetting there's a great 24-man that's coming out as well.
It looks incredible.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. It looks
So
like it'll be
cool.
some fun.
The music was so cheerful. But what's going to happen after this is done? It's against the 12, and now there's going to be 10 of them down?
Is it 10 of them that will be down?
Well, Naldal, does that count as 2? Or did that count as 1? But it's going to be the majority of them gone. We saw 5 of them this time. So...
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be whatever the reveal of why we're going through this, right? And what the whole lore situation is.
Yeah.
Too. I think honestly, I mean, everybody's saying you're completely wrong, Better. I don't.
There were 5 in the trailer. It didn't see 5 in combat, but we saw 5 of them. They could just be a cutscene. But they're still... I'm not convinced they're the real guys. Or there's something else that's going to lead into something.
I don't know. It's real confusing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah. It looked like a lot of really fun combat mechanics that we saw. Like different platforms and stuff with Halone.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's difficult. Cool. I'm hoping it's pretty difficult. Well, okay, I'll ask this of both of you. Out of all of the 24 man whatever groups and alliance raids, which one was the right difficulty?
What do you mean?
Like, you're like, hey, this is exactly what I want.
Or for you? Or for me?
The content existing. I mean, you do a party finder, or you don't, not party finder, sorry, duty finder, right? It's duty finder content. It's not, I mean, you can get people together and have fun with it, but on a regular basis,
Thunder God did was way too hard for the community, right? They even nerfed it. It was very hard. There's only been a couple times where groups disband because something is very difficult. I think World of Darkness was also too difficult at the time for the community, but now you don't see anything. Right? So like a lot of them don't really age well, so newer players aren't going to remember how they used to be, where you respected things, or like pulled the bone dragon away from the skeletons and now you just heal through it. Or like that one monk guy where you had to actually go to the other platforms with the spinning blades, and that doesn't happen. Right? But at the time, I think like I liked Weeping City of Muck. I thought Ozma was an incredible fight. Do you have a favorite Saori?
I really like the level 70 ones, the Urban Monastery. That one cost a lot of wipes too. Like, I remember when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And what's the other one? I mean, I love the near ones.
It was like Ridorana Lighthouse. I do like that they took all those bosses and put them in Boscha, right? As critical engagements.
Yeah.
So that they maintain difficulty.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I thought the near raids were pretty nice. The near raids were really fun. My issue is that nothing you get from it is best in slot. And so I run it exactly once.
Yeah.
And then it's done.
It's just glam.
Yeah, it's glamour.
But half the time I don't even want the glamour.
It sucks.
The near stuff I did want. The near stuff was really cool.
The near, exactly.
Not the 2B outfit, but like they gave us trench coats, dude. That was sick. And like visors and stuff. That's really cool.
The tank trench, that was so cool.
They gave me a Bash the Stampede glamour.
Did you guys see the one for this alliance raid that's coming up? The gear.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Beautiful.
I'm such a horrible MMO player for Final Fantasy 14. I don't care about glamour. I don't care about crafting and gathering.
I mean, you
I don't
just
care
show up
about
in a
mounts.
Moogle
I mean-
hat, right?
Yeah, I just have a Moogle hat. In whatever the current gear is. For raiding. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You keep
I'm-
going, because
I'm-
I need someone to talk about
Saori's
besides
been
me.
hurt. You could see you've hurt their heart.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I was actually gonna say the glam looks very like appropriate for the theme of the alliance, right? But
Mhm.
I'm not really a big fan of it.
I'm not going to use
Mm.
most
I
of
don't
it.
know.
I think it's
Maybe-
beautiful, right? But like the boots are
diet,
nice.
right? Has to be, right?
Hmm?
If we can dye it, then maybe.
It depends on what dyes. Sometimes things dye and some of the colors look weird.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean,
But like
I think
we
it
have
looks
so many
nice.
good glamours now. Like
Fine.
this, it's really hard to release good glamour after this tier because they give us like glowing armor now. So I think a lot of people are expecting them to like just one up every time, and it's not going to.
Mm-hmm.
Dungeon gear also looks good. Like in general, sometimes they release some pretty good stuff that way, but like not everything has to look amazing.
Oh.
Did we see the new dungeon gear?
I don't remember. I don't remember seeing it if we did.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe spoilery.
It could be. Yeah. I don't know. It's sad that a lot of this stuff.
Dungeon looks cool.
The
Yeah, they
dungeon,
showed a lot of enemies with like World of Darkness armor on, or like
Yeah.
Void Arc kind of looking stuff. That was neat.
Yeah, that's where we're going, right? We're going to the 13 or whatever, or 13th. I mean, that's what the story seems to be doing. And that's what the next expansion is going to be. It's the only thing I can
Number
really
four.
predict, right?
That's what I wanna
I still
see.
thought it would be so
what-
cool if we like start going to different shards and like Golbez is chasing us.
Yeah, I want to see what direction the MSQ takes because I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Like, where
It feels, I don't know. You don't feel that. I don't feel like a huge buildup right now. I feel like a sort of buildup. Like, okay, this is stuff that we kind of expect, but nothing feels like the whole multiverse is going to be blown up by a bird. Kind of.
We're probably gonna see a war in Mericidia, right?
I guess so, but
It's kind of leading there. It's leading to the ancient war of the dragons
Sure.
versus the void of the 13th. So it would make sense for that to be somewhere we would end up.
Mm-hmm.
Emmett Selk also like told us to visit that area, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like chat's saying, it could be done. 13th could be done and out of the way before an expansion happens.
I mean, look at this Endwalker MSQ, how much we were like, oh, here comes the pinnacle. Oh, wait, there's the next thing. Okay, this is the
There's
pinnacle. Oh,
more.
wait, there's the next thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was kind of
interesting to
weird going through the Endwalker expansion. Because it was you I don't know. I didn't expect it to keep rolling like it did. It felt like it was going too quick, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, couldn't predict that we are going to be fighting a bird at the end. It just didn't. None of that came
was
across my
wild.
mind.
We took down Twitter, dude.
Oh yeah, well, I guess
In the next expansion, we'll fight a book with a face.
Yeah. Oh god, Twitter is. We're not going to. You know what? That's not this show. We don't have to
No?
go into Twitter. It's crazy, man. This world, the internet's getting all weird. All right,
We also saw new Manderville stuff, right? Godbert was running for his life.
he was.
Yes, we saw that. I wonder what that was about.
With
We're
new
getting
weapons.
more
with, like,
the
some
next
Frankenstein-y
step
guys?
for the next step for the relics.
Mm-hmm. I think they said they're gonna. Yeah.
That's not in this patch, right? Well, it is, but like
Like,
It'll be when we
3.35?
get the
Yeah.
deep dungeon. Yeah. And
135?
they had
Okay,
said this time
okay,
around
okay.
they want to make it so it's easy to get multiple weapons,
Mm-hmm.
which would be really cool. So
Interesting.
probably something like Buzzer where you only had to do certain steps once and then they were
Mm-hmm.
done for everybody.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess yeah.
I
This
do
is
like the Manderville.
Manderville is interesting. It kind of still is off the radar for me still.
I skip it all.
Yeah.
Except for one part.
No.
I did see an alien. I'm like, that's Pooh from Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm watching this part, and I thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not fully caught up to the Mandeville story, but what I did before, like from the beginning up to Shadowbringers, I think, I thought it was really fun. I liked it.
Hmm.
There's a cool Cowboy Bebop reference,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most
Oh,
part,
really?
it was. Yeah, the first expansion's all Cowboy Bebop theme, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
They did a see you later space. See you later.
Yeah, I remember
detective and
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Each X-Pack has a different theme.
You
from
know,
Enderville. I just didn't care for most of it.
I guess the thing that is actually just the side thing, I guess, that everybody's really excited for is the UI adjustments.
Finally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are they're doing what they need to do, right? Improve your UI to fight the
So that
nefarious
don't
people
mod
out
it,
there. Make reasons not exist.
I got something to say to every single person out there who wants to shit on the people who are modding. Sure, they shouldn't be doing it because it's against the TOS, but you better fucking thank them because they're taking the L so that we can get this.
Yeah.
Because if they had never done it in the first place, we probably wouldn't see these changes.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's literally it. If people improve, I mean, if they add a DPS meter, like, it would change a lot of need for. I mean, not completely, but it would do away a lot with third-party programs. But I mean, I don't play with any UI add-ons, mods, whatever, third-party stuff. And this is legitimate, not even like a sarcastic thing. It's just because I'm lazy. I don't need to.
Well, it's going to make my life a lot easier, right? So, like teaching parties, which you do a lot of. So, something like if you were doing UCOB and the Dooms come out and people don't know if they're first, second, or third, now it's just going to be a timer. Before, I would have to click the people who got picked by it to see who was what.
Mm-hmm.
So now that makes my life easier. So I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody's going to need that kind of help. Or, I've heard that before, and people are like, I don't even have time to look up for my hotbar. How can you even look at that? And I'm like, well, different people, different experiences, but like this is only going to help.
I gotta say this just because I saw this one comment. We're close to wrapping up here, but they said if they add a DPS meter, 60% of the player base would quit or not raid. That's not true.
No.
At all.
I don't think so. No.
No.
It would encourage people.
The same people who are already bullying would continue to bully, and the people who aren't, I don't think would either. But it could identify an issue. There are a number of players who just don't know that they're playing incorrectly.
Yeah. It's that's it. Literally, it just gives insight, and people who do raid will be like, oh, it's something for me to improve and try to better on. And maybe, that's like the worst that it would do, and they wouldn't feel like, oh, okay, well, I will never achieve greatness of this other person who keeps beating me in DPS. They'll just try a little harder. If they're playing with friends already, they're not going to care, right? They're still going to play.
I mean, the
with
first
friends.
time I saw DPS meters, it was, well, first off, wildly inaccurate. You remember in A Realm Reborn, there was like a couple different kinds. They were all really bad.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't track dots, couldn't track crit rates and stuff. But like,
yeah,
the first thing I did when I saw that was like, I'm not playing right. What am I doing wrong? And then you start to fix it, right? Because there are so many DPS who are quick to be like, these tanks and healers just aren't doing enough. Or like, I'm the melee. Everyone else needs to do more. And then they find out, wait a minute, it's me who's the issue.
yeah.
It's the thing that the game doesn't really tell you because, for example, when I started doing Savage, I was O12S and I was healing. I was on White Mage, and I remember that we couldn't meet the DPS check. I was on PF. I was very, very new to raiding, and the group actually told me like, "Hey, do you know that as a healer you need to do more damage because you're just like moving around or like just healing, like not doing enough damage." And that was super new to me. I had no idea. I was like, okay, well, I thought I was doing enough damage. Like I thought, I'm pressing my buttons when I'm not moving around and stuff. So I didn't know. So there's no way really to know unless other people tell you or, DPS meter.
Luckily,
Well, yeah,
someone
you
already
said you were a
has
healer,
one.
right?
What? Go ahead. Sorry.
Like Frosty, you've been healing too. So like Saori, like all of us have healed before content too. Sometimes you think that it's an unreasonable request when somebody tells you need to do more damage because you're constantly healing, right? But then you don't take the approach that maybe I'm not using the correct healing buttons in these moments. And if you change what you're doing, it'll make you do more damage because you'll have more opportunity, right?
Yeah. But that for example made me realize, okay, well maybe I need to look into what am I doing or what am I supposed to be doing, to do a little bit more damage. And the thing is that some people might take it the wrong way. So for example, if you're running a dungeon and all of a sudden you tell the healer, hey, you're a healer, but you need to do damage, some people might get upset or something. It's just I don't know. I feel like there should be a way of the game telling you if you're doing enough damage or not, like within the fight. I don't know.
I don't think the Stone Sky Sea is enough.
No.
Yeah, I know that the striking dummies, right? But also not a lot of people know about that.
It's like a side quest. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guarantee you the people who are having an issue with their damage have never done it. I mean, I've never done it. But people who are doing it because they're paying attention to their DPS. So
one of the best things that is sort of related to this, I thought, was when Bardam's Medal first came out. I thought it was perfect because the second boss was it the first boss? One of them was just like, can you do mechanics?
Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
second one.
and it was just, can you do mechanics? No damage at all, right? So what if they gave you like a solo instance where your focus was DPSing it down, but then they threw mechanics at you too, because the Stone Sky Sea doesn't, right? The Stone Sky Sea is just standing still DPSing, but casters and healers and stuff that are going to run around. Yeah. Like if they gave you something like that, I think it would be fantastic. I mean, like, we really do need like an advanced Hall of the Novice.
It is a odd situation for healers and Party Finder because you can't judge them completely on DPS if people are dying and you have to like use GCDs to heal in situations that you wouldn't have before and do unoptimal healing because you had to make up for someone else. And so it's very hard to gauge like if a healer did well unless if no one died at all. Or no one got hit by mechanics they shouldn't got hit by. Then sure.
Well, you could do something like a beginner, a medium, and an expert difficulty of a trial thing where you have trusts, right? And like in the easy version, nobody's getting hit by anything they're not supposed to. And a medium, maybe one or two here or there. And then the expert one, people are just eating shit to a lot of stuff, and now you have to like really stress yourself.
No, they could for sure. I think it would help, but really just put a DPS meter in it. Game, that's it. Literally, that's it. They have access to the information. It's there. It's just, and I know why, and I'm not going to sit there and try to chase it down ever. I'm never going to ask Yoshida or ask anyone else to do it, right? I feel like that bridge is crossed, and they'll do it when they want to do it. But I do think that it would be a huge positive change on the game. And it's not going to be as bad as people think it will be. No one's going to, like, if you get harassed, it's going to be the same situation.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you're out of your mind if you think people aren't already like the kind of parties that you can't get into, you're out of your mind if you already think they're not just looking up your FF logs.
Yeah.
Just because it's not visible in game doesn't mean they're not still doing it. Like people who are rude are still going to be rude.
Yeah. So that all being said, I guess we could start wrapping up unless there's some other things you guys want to go over about the live letter.
Yeah, dude.
Did you guys see the mounts? The gold?
There's a lot of mounts.
The golden monkey, dude. I'll never afford that. I'm gonna put a lemonade stand that's gonna be our new housing item in my lawn and sell lemonade for that golden monkey.
I'm guessing it's a gold saucer mount. It has to be, right?
Well, the other one was bought in Yulmore, right?
I think it's gonna be Gil.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a Gil-based mount. There was an MGP mount.
Okay.
I don't remember which one was the MGP mount.
The airship.
Yeah. The blimp airship. Yep.
Okay. And that was pretty cool too.
There's like 5 or 6 new mounts, right? Yeah, there's two Gil mounts, and they're both going to be like
mounts.
That is
and
crazy.
A bunch of minions. I'm excited for the minions actually. They look super cute.
With the scar.
The corgi, the little ghost.
The little ghost is so cute. That's a Nier collab, right?
Is it?
I love it. Is. I love that one. But yeah, lots of things coming up. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun patch. I think that this is I don't know. It's gonna bring a little bit. It's gonna bring some life back to the game for at least a week there. At least a week. It'll be give a nice boost.
I'll also say for all the people who keep saying everything like, "Wow, everybody's playing World of Warcraft. Everybody quit Final Fantasy." People didn't quit. There's just nothing to do right now. And WoW released something to fill the space.
Yeah, WoW has a really good expansion. Or I don't know if it's really
It was
good. I heard it was good. It looks good. Everything I know. I haven't personally done it, but it looks like it's a really good expansion for WoW, and it made me kind of miss WoW a bit, although I'm not playing it. But
it's an expansion where they released a thousands of year old war with dragons, and they gave us a dragon race. Heavensward.
Dragons races and like
that was pretty fun. The dungeons feel more like Final Fantasy dungeons than they ever have. I definitely think they learned something this time around. Things are a bit more streamlined, and they updated the UI too. I definitely like. It's a good thing, right? You want to take from your competition the good parts.
100%. Saori, what level are you in WoW again?
I haven't started playing it.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine. Neither have I. I haven't played any during this. I'm old WoW player. I stopped at Warlords of Draenor, so it's been a while since I really got into it. But if you wanted to play it, this is a great time to do it before this patch comes out, and this patch is going to be fun for a little while, and then the race is going to happen, and that's going to be ridiculous. But man, next year is going to be a little bit wild. Now we're thinking about it. We have the new patch starting off the year. We get the Ultimate World Race. We get a new Deep Dungeon. We get another expansion coming out with a new Savage and everything. Then that leads up to FanFest shortly afterwards. After FanFest, though, it'll kind of slow down a little bit, I think. And then we'll kind of get into a lull. But right now, it's pretty good. It looks like the first half of the year
catch up on things.
Yeah,
actually pretty nice.
And then we'll have another probably WoW raid will be released after that.
Yeah,
well, there'll be other things. Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, 16.
I think they also said they have a lot of stuff that they want to announce for the 10-year anniversary that they can't yet. So hopefully we'll get some more insight on that.
Yeah.
I'll know more at FanFest as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we wrap up? This has been fun.
Yeah. I don't like that they're adding adventure plates when you queue into instance content together. And you're forced to see it. You're forced to see it. People are going to have that TOS shit on purpose.
Yeah, but then they get banned.
Aren't people getting banned?
Yeah, but it's going to be on your stream. Their adventure plate is going to be on your screen.
That's true. That's true. I don't know how
it's just like if you show chat and then somebody says something they shouldn't, and your chat is visible in your stream, you're the one who gets punished.
I hope there's a way to turn it off.
Me too.
Yeah, it'd be silly if they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Just make it show up over where your webcam
if it's
is.
toggleable, that'll be great.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to that part, but if it is, then that'd be great. Yeah. I really don't care too much for adventure plate system, honestly.
I mean, I think
sometimes
it's great.
they're fun.
I haven't done anything with mine, but I think it's great.
The PvP ones are really cool. When people get into it with their stances with a team sync up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I do like the plates. I do like that they implemented this where you can see them, but I mean, just people have to not put weird stuff in them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just be nice.
Yeah. Oh, MMO, internet, all those great things. You're not gonna get. You're always gonna get somebody. Oh, jeez. All right. I do want to also personally thank both you guys coming on for New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Oh wait, it's Christmas Eve. What's time? Next show's gonna be on New Year's Eve. That's gonna be a whole other one. Gosh, I don't even. What am I doing next? Maybe I'll just come on a show and just have my face and just sit there and just drink and just hang out for a couple hours, and that's the show for New Year's Eve. Oh man, this year's been like a crazy year, to be honest with you, with all the different race content and everything else. Final Fantasy 14 has had like a huge year. next year's going to be good for a little bit, but it's going to slow down for sure. And then we're going to get that hype train going for the next expansion the year after. So we've been doing this for too long. I feel like it's
old, man.
MogTalk's 8-year anniversary is in February.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dude, MogTalk and State of the
January.
Realm are like the old guard.
Yeah.
Right?
It's for Final Fantasy 14 at least, right? There's podcasts that's been out for a long time. It's been in like to 11 and 1.0. We're at 2.0 and on, but yeah, 8 years. Might be worth doing a show just to talk about that stuff next weekend, but we'll see. But that being
Grab
said,
clips from your first shows, dude.
huh?
Grab clips from your first shows.
Oh, they're
Little Frosty.
Yeah.
they're some good cringe. They're out there though.
Year compilation,
Yeah.
since it's a new year.
Yeah. I by the way, for episode 200, I played a clip of every single episode all the way up to 200. So I could pull that out. You pull that out again, but all right. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. And again, you guys are great. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I hope that you're gonna have wonderful dinners, wonderful whatever, just happiness, however you have it.
Yeah.
But before we leave, I want to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, of course. And before we leave, please tell everybody where they can find you. Any shout outs you want to do, anything else here. And I'll let you go first, Saori.
Okay. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/SaoriV. Okay, and Twitter GG_Saori.
Excellent. You know what? I'm going to give you the coveted shout out from hold on, I gotta do this differently. Twitch, which you can only do one of at a time. So I'll give you that shout out there. And then did you say who you wanted to shout out? Did you have anyone you want to shout out? Saori? Anyone important to you that's like, oh man, this person, I couldn't have done anything in my life without them?
He calls out his wife every time. Here's your chance to thank
The
his
what?
wife.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Shout out the tree. No.
The tree?
No.
What? I don't even
sorry,
know.
I'm just kidding.
XDD. Well, you know who I think we're both really thankful for this year, Saori? Somebody who just had a really hard time and was hospitalized for a very unfortunate thing that happens to people as they get older in general is Lamatod. I think the entire Final Fantasy community is very thankful for him. Saori and I are very, very close, and for those of you who don't know, Lamatod recently, I don't mean to abduct the stream, recently suffered a stroke, and we've been doing everything we can. He's uninsured, help him raise money for his medical bills. He had a little hole in his heart because he gives so much of it out to all of us. And I don't think this year would be what it was without him.
I agree.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Lamaton.
Yeah. And health care in the US is horrid. It's pretty bad.
They charge you thousands for the ambulance ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely shout out to Lamatad while he's going through all that stuff. But that being said, too, Ren, you need to say where people can find you.
You can find me here whenever Frosty has me on.
Okay. All right. Next week's episode.
You can find me. Yeah, next week's episode.
Yeah.
You can find me at Rin Karigani on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I've been really lazy with my YouTube stuff lately, as I've been doing a lot of other things, which has been unfortunate. But I need to pick it back up, get back into things, and I like to teach people Savage and Ultimate content. We're not going to be doing the World Race this time around for Omega, so we'll say that now, which means that maybe Possibly I'll beg Frosty to let me do some casting for it.
I
Maybe.
am gonna take that up. That is gonna be so very likely. Ren Karigani will be helping with the world race, which is gonna be amazing. He's been a big player from the other side of the world race, so I think having you in there is gonna be a huge asset to the team. So trust me, I think that we're gonna make something happen there. There's a lot of stuff with the world race that we're planning on, from like trivia stuff to whiteboarding sessions for Knife Band, strategy discussions, lots of various different segments during the show. There's a whole bunch of things that we're trying to do because it's going to be a 24/7 stream until hopefully someone on stream clears it, which I'm hoping is in with a 3 to 5 day range.
There's an idea for your show next week. World race thought discussion. How you think about seeing things for the first time.
Yeah. That is actually going to be really good. Yeah, rating in general and talking about world racing and what that looks like, and talking about some of the teams that will be racing, because there are a lot of really interesting. Lucrezia has said they were going to come back for this race.
No fucking way,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but
I did not. That's incredible. If you guys are, well, you're all young. Be excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be excited.
You're not going to see a stream for them.
No. But you are going to hear things like the Lucrezia dodge for Exa players.
Yeah. Oh my god. It is ridiculous to think
when's the last time that they were like super big? Was Midas the last year that they were like really competitive?
A handful of the members were around for the first UCOB, or for UCOB, I think.
Yeah.
But for like Lucrezia being like an organization, I can't even remember.
Yeah, like as a whole. I think it was Midas.
That makes sense, yeah. So this is going to be kind of interesting to see how this all shapes up. Next month's going to be crazy.
I'm already used to it at this point. No,
Hey, Saori's going to be on the World Race event too. So, she's going to show up.
Big
And
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, thanks. I keep dragging this on. I probably should wrap up so I might go eat their food. Thank you so much for both of you guys coming on. This has been amazing. There's a lot of World Race stuff coming up around the corner. MogTalk's going to be very busy for like at least the next month and a half, 2 months, with some crazy stuff that we have going on. The World Race event's going to take up a lot of this channel. But look forward to it. I appreciate everybody's support. Again, all the merch stuff, the subs, the everything that goes towards this channel right now is being funneled to support that world race. So if you want to support that at all, just do whatever you want to do in that term. If you have a Twitch Prime, it's free. You support the world race. There you go, guys. That being said, we are going to wrap up the show. We're going to host somebody after this. And any last words from you guys before we do a little closing outro?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. If you guys got any content you want to clear, there's so many of us out there that want to help you. I'll be doing some giveaways over the next 2 days, actually. We have some Night Pegasus whistles and Sylvan Thrones to give out to people we help.
Yeah. There you go. So catch these guys on their different forms of social media, watch their streams, follow them, all that great stuff. And until next time, remember, keep cool, be good, stay frosty. I don't do that all the time. I do it. You guys say bye. Wave bye.
Bye.
Bye.